As humans, we are instinctively social beings, and we enjoy the outdoors and being together. We did not anticipate that a virus could inhibit our ability to socialize and limit the distances in which we could interact.
A greater sense of loneliness and isolation can negatively impact our mental health. It can also disrupt our normal routines and our normal relationships, which help us to stay healthy at the best of times.
As the coronavirus pandemic continues to spread across the U.S., a growing number of people are dealing with food insecurity.
With our forced isolation, many have turned to indoor gardening as plants provide us with solace and help us reconnect with nature. In my own home, I observed vines that grew along my fence. I know of their ability to insulate walls, retain moisture. As a designer, I questioned if this could be used as a facade material. I also helped my family build a saltwater aquarium, where we later discovered a horde of bristleworm annelids growing without any facilitation. I contemplated a living system where the filtration and cleaning of air, carbon dioxide could be sequestered and be released within a fish farm. The CO2 would then help the growth of algae and plant life to support fish and other aquatic organisms. The fish could then be consumed by people, while the nitrogen-rich organic waste of the water could help grow crops or other plants, such as vines. In this system, humans and nature could exist in symbiosis. I began collecting specimens to create a biosphere experiment. The first would be a closed loop with only organisms and plants, while the other would be open and receive food and CO2 through an external pump. The CO2 pump would run without electricity, only from a mixture of baking soda and citric acid. I set a bubble counter and a check valve to control the flow of air into the tank, as well as a drop checker to monitor the CO2 levels. At the same time, I built a 1-inch gridded trellis so that I could observe the growth rate of my vines. I also built a grid with larger gaps to see how the vines would span distances in case I wanted to use this as a solid facade. To my dismay, the intricate systems I had set up resulted in failure. With the pressure of the CO2 too high and the check valve malfunctioning, my human-involved loop ended in no survivors. And while my vines had been growing well, they too were struck with disaster. As a windstorm came and destroyed the wall of vines. I then took a step back from my desire to create a heavily regulated system and began iterating a smaller scale solution, one that does not intend to submit nature to our control, but rather gives nature a place to thrive simultaneously with its human hosts. I wanted to design a space for personal reflection with an aquaponic system for growing small crops and an aquarium to watch and relax with. I decided that the most important aspect of my design would be to go back to my initial intent of finding a way to relieve others of pandemic-related anxieties. After a few iterations, I finally came upon the Aqua Rest. In this concept, an aquaponic system is powered by energy generated from the solar glass above. The smooth surface directs any rainfall or liquid that lands on the glass into a water storage tank below. The seat is equipped with a water-filled cushion, either filled from the internal rain capture tank or from an additional source. As one sits on the water cushion and observes the fish swimming by, contemplates life, and lets go of worries, small weep holes in the cushion will let out water into the soil below for the vines. When the cushion is empty, the seat will feel more dense, indicating that the time for reflection has come to an end. This seat does not intend to solve all problems within the vast systems of the world, or to exist completely off-grid, but it does attempt to bring solace to those who live in it, if only for a moment.